Okay, guys, today is your lecture slash talk, whatever, about what is going on in class Tuesday. So for today, Tuesday, we're going to talk a lot about grading writing, and actually, you get to listen to me less and do a little bit more. So I'm going to show you some things going on with grading writing that are going to help you understand how I'm grading. So basically, we're going back to the idea of this fake test. Remember, I gave this fake test and I talked a little bit about how I would grade writing. How, when it's a two-part question, we're looking for grading each part. And even if you write something amazing, you can't get a very good score if you only address half of the questions. So I'm going to have you do a little bit of practice. Here's the good news. You don't have to do any writing today. You're the grader today. Because if you can grade, you can write. Okay, if you understand how I'm grading, you can absolutely write. So I'm using a question right off of a previous AIR test. Actually, this might have even been the OGT, but the OGT became the AIR. It doesn't matter. A standardized test. And the state then released these answers that kids gave. Now, this is kind of hard to read, which is why I've retyped it and put it in a form for you. And the same thing here. I'm actually, for the next one, using a question that I've used on my test before and is not that dissimilar from one you're going to have on your next test, which is actually only going to be, I think, next Friday or something like that. So we haven't even started covering any notes yet. By the way, be ready to take notes tomorrow, pencil and paper. We're going to start taking notes tomorrow. But instead of having you look at this on a smartboard file, what I'm going to have you do is look at these on, whoops, won't let me click there. There we go. On these test forms. So you have this link to this test form. So I know you can read, but I'm going to read through this with you. And I'm going to tell you, remind you, and the form tells you too, you do not need to answer this question. The question's been answered. What you need to do is grade the question, or excuse me, the answers that these people have given so that you know, oh, if I can identify what's a good answer, then I should be able to write a good answer. So each question is each student below is answering this question. You're going to select from two groups below, and they're listing African Americans, Native Americans, Asian Americans, and Hispanics. Select from the two groups listed below and provide one example for each group that illustrates how its contributions have enriched American society. So that's the question that's being asked. So the first person says, African Americans have contributed to a Black History Month where black leaders of movements back during slavery and segregation are recognized for their leadership. The Native Americans have a holiday, Thanksgiving for the Pilgrims, sit down in front of a table and give thanks to a large fest. Okay, this is written exactly how students wrote it. That's why some of these don't make a whole lot of sense. So what you have to say to yourself is, okay, we're looking for two groups from up above. Did they identify those groups, and did they say a real contribution that they gave? And what you're going to do is you say, listen, they didn't name anybody, and they didn't name any contributions. That's zero. Oh, they named one group, or oh, they named two groups, but didn't really do a good job with the contribution. That would be that one. Or they named two groups and described one contribution, but not the other. Or the best grade you can get on this. Oh, they named two groups and gave two specific contributions. So you do you're just grading all of these answers, and there are various levels of success on this. And when you are done, you hit submit. Now, once you hit submit, you click on view score. Sometimes it says view results. It doesn't really matter. But what you can see then is I'm going to tell you what the correct answer is and why. So the first question, it's 2 points. Although very poorly explained, they did successfully mention two groups. They mentioned African Americans and Native Americans. But they didn't really give any explanation that was really good about what their contributions are. So for example, African Americans' contribution to American history isn't Black History Month. Black History Month celebrates all the specific contributions. So that's a really horrible answer. Same thing for the Native American answer. So you have to think to yourself, all right, how would Mr. Penrose or the AIR or whoever grade this? So you answer all of those, and then when you're done, hit submit, and then look at the feedback. The feedback is teaching you. This is another way I can get around not seeing you every day. I can show you the proper responses. So you try it, hit submit, and then I'm going to tell you, in this case, the right answers. Now, there are other things where I'm going to be testing you, so you won't see the right answers because I know you'll share them with your friends. That's more of measuring whether or not you've learned what I've taught you. I'm trying to teach you through this form That's why you're going to see the right answer pop up. Then the second one is going to be, let's see, the same idea, part 2, except this one's even more important because this is right off of one of my tests. And I may change it up. I may not. I don't know. I have a lot of different versions of the test, but I'm going to ask you something like this in the very first essay of the year, which will be on your test. So for this one, I'm giving you the information. I'm telling you, here's 2 statements about Sandusky, and I'm giving you a chart. Okay, so let's read the 2 statements real quick. So this is another link. So you do the first link, and you kind of practice on those first, and then you do this second form. This statement says, Sandusky is an amazing place to live. Right in our own backyard, we have one of the nation's biggest amusement parks, Cedar Point. Downtown has really been revived with new and exciting restaurants and businesses opening up. Jackson Street Pier renovations have given residents more of a chance to have access to the beautiful Sandusky Bay, which is ideal for all kinds of water sports or just watching beautiful sunsets. There's a great sense of community and pride. Now, I agree with everything in that statement, but you have to ask yourself some questions about it. Are there a lot of facts in there? Okay, statement B. The U.S. Census Bureau from 2010 base data and updates as recent as 2019 state that Sandusky has a population of 24,264 people. The 3 largest groups are Caucasians at 67.3%, African Americans at 23.9%, and Hispanic Americans at 7.2%. The average home value is $83,000 with an average rent of $672. 83.8% have at least one computer, 72.1% have high-speed internet, 87.9% have a high school diploma or higher, and 15.2% have a bachelor's degree. Now, A is a lot more fun to read, but the question is, which is more reliable and why? And looking then at the chart below, so the second part of the question, they're looking at this chart about arson. And what it says is the number in purple is how many arson cases are in Sandusky, and the number in gray is how many U.S. cases there are. So what you can see is other than 2009 and 2011, arson was much higher among the national average than it was in Sandusky, much higher than it was in Sandusky. So it says, looking at the chart below, is it reliable? Okay, it's got a source here, city-data.com, and what can you reasonably conclude? So again, I'm not even asking you this time, I might on the next test, to answer this. What I'm asking you to do is to grade the responses that I gave you. So if you think this first one's a 4, and you go through and there's 8 of them all together, and you write down, oh, this is the grade I would give, then when you're done, you hit submit. And again, after you submit it, you get to view accuracy or view results. It's worded differently. And then it's going to tell you, oh, you said it was worth 4 points, that first question. It's not. It's worth 2. The person answered the first part perfectly, but didn't answer the second question about arson at all. So that's how you do that. You're basically practicing grading these results. That's all you need to do. So you're taking a little bit of time to read through the question, and then you don't have to answer these questions. You have to grade the results that other people would have had, okay? So that's the big thing you're doing today. That's it. I'm just trying to get through to you the idea that some of you are going to just write a whole bunch and think that that's going to get you the points. As a sophomore, we're expecting a little bit more. You got to answer it right. You have to have efficacy, what they would say. That you have to have some the right answers, not just answers. So use this as a little bit of practice. This will not take that long. Again, Monday and Tuesday this week, by design, we're designed to end up a little bit earlier so you would have time to finish that document of the week. Because just because that document of the week is due by the start of class Friday doesn't mean you have to wait until Friday. Listen, guys, I have to turn in things like lesson plans. Mine are due Monday morning at 8. I do them Friday before I leave because there are just too many dumb things that could happen in my life over the weekend that would make me forget. That is what you should be doing too. This is the most real life thing I can give you, a deadline. And if you don't have them in by that deadline, you will not get credit for them. And if you say, oh, this horrible thing happened Thursday, what I would say to you is, that's exactly why I wouldn't wait until the last minute to get it done. Okay? So after you're done doing these 2 forms, which really shouldn't take that long, but read the feedback. It's going to help you, I promise. on the next test and really on all the tests moving forward, make sure you get your document of the week done. And if you don't know how to do that, go back and watch Monday's video. That's the nice thing. You can basically make me reteach just by going back in the classroom stream and clicking on the lecture or the lesson for Monday. Okay? So make sure you do that. Always watch the videos every day in the stream. Tomorrow's Wednesday. That means there's no live sessions. We still have class. There'll still be a recorded lecture. And as a matter of fact, tomorrow, make sure you have a paper and pencil. You're going to need to take some notes, and those notes are going to be a big help for you, not just on the test later on next week, but also on some of the assignments that we have moving forward. Hope that makes sense for everybody. Reach out to me, email me, get a hold of me, and we'll answer any questions that you have. Have a great day.